some of the problems against Villarreal was Bayern Munich's balance. It's been the main reason on why they've lost games this season, and also happened in the last away match against Salzburg in the Champions League. They progressed the ball way too quickly, and they're a possessional-based side. And the way that they're progressing the ball is the speed of a counter-attacking side. So their team isn't positioned correctly to receive the ball. This means they're more likely to lose the ball in attack, and then their counter defense is heavily lacking, which allowed Villarreal to counter-attack in the way they did. They also didn't create as many high-value chances. I know it's a bit more difficult with an Unai Emery's team sitting back, but you would expect them to create some. We also had Alphonso Davies come back for the first time, so he looked rusty for conceding the first goal. And Goretzka didn't start, so there was less balance and the double pivot position. And we had Gnabry on the left, which didn't really work. So to go and maybe qualify and come back and turn the tie around, they need to nail down all these things. Julian Nagelsmann's team needs to realise not every attacking sequence has to end in a shot. They need to be more controlled with the ball and not rush in attack. Things like work the space around them, like they know. Nagelsmann was reportedly unhappy about the squad depth after the transfer windows, and they don't have the biggest squad in the Bundesliga. And on top of that, he's faced quite a few unlucky injuries and COVID and problems with COVID. Against Villarreal, though, if you can bring on Goretzka and Sane, that's pretty big. I think Nagelsmann's selections and substitutions in the first leg were slightly questionable and should be criticised at some point. For instance, I think instead of bringing on Goretzka and Sane, it's better to bring on Musiala, as he's a lot more dynamic and probably more of an impact player right now at his young age, instead of putting on Goretzka. Goretzka's been suffering with injuries as well, only recently came back and only played a full 60 minutes before this, and some minutes before that one, but starting to finish 60 minutes prior. And he also took off Muller to put on Goretzka, which I wouldn't have taken off someone like that either. And there was a similar issue with Sane coming on at the end. I would argue that Gnabry is more the person you'd put on if you were losing 1-0. That kind of decision was made because with Davies pushing up, Coman doesn't suit as well on the same side. So he was played on the right with Gnabry on the left. But Gnabry didn't do too well either. And I think having someone like Sané there from the start and bringing on someone like Gnabry on, as he's more dynamic and versatile, would have suited that a lot more. If they lose to Villarreal, some would view that as an unsuccessful season, even if they do win the Bundesliga. That's slightly disrespectful to Villarreal, I know that. But personally, I think a Bundesliga and a quarterfinal of the Champions League for this squad, when many people were saying Bayern wouldn't even win the Bundesliga, would be successful.